We're continuing in the fourth essay, understanding and appreciating the uniqueness of physical-oriented mitzvahs that we do, and the study of Torah that relates to that. That when you study Torah, that has an understanding, teachings that enhance the mitzvahs of the Torah. So then that is an expression of the divine wisdom that connects us to the divine. So the act does, and the study of the thought and the speech that goes into the study. How about if you study something that is kind of irrelevant today? Like laws of the Holy Temple, if you had a thought to bring an offering, and that offering you had a extraneous, or you not extraneous thought, but you kind of confused. You were supposed to bring a sin offering, and you thought it was a Thanksgiving offering, right? Karban Shlomim, a Thanksgiving offering, given by way of example. You made a mistake. So it's invalid. Now, you might ask, we don't have the Holy Temple today, so what is the teachings of learning about, like learning in Maimonides? That have set up a system that every day we learn the teachings of Maimonides, and we learn the laws of the Holy Temple. But those aren't things that are practical today, yet there's a value there. Because if you learn about the Holy Temple, or you learn about the service in the Holy Temple, it's as if you brought an offering. Learning about it is as if you brought the offering. So there's a value to that. But to learn about the prohibition on what's called pigul, that you had the wrong thought in giving the offering, well, that's not, you can't say that's as if you brought the offering, right? No. So what value does that have? So the Alter Rebbe explains, I hope that's clear. In other words, not only is, to learn about offerings on the altar have a value today, because if you learn about it, it's as if you brought the offering. It's as if you brought the offering. So there's a value in that. But what's the value in the prohibition that if you had the wrong thought about that offering, that therefore you can't say it's as if you didn't bring it. The point is that you. So that Rebbe explains like this. Chachma Ilah, divine wisdom, supernal wisdom, is the source of everything in creation. It's the source that animates everything. It is the Chachma, wisdom, we translate it as wisdom, is the first of the 10 divine attributes. It is the divine attribute that is the receptacle for the Or Ein Sof, for the limitless light of God, that now comes funneled, so to speak, or vested in Chachma, which is a limited, because it's wisdom, not understanding. It's wisdom, not emotions. Or Ein Sof is limitless, so it's not defined by intelligence, emotions. So Chachma being the first and being the receptacle because of the bittul, the self-abnegation that it has, so therefore it can now reflect the limitlessness of God through it, funneling through it or vested in it. It is the source ultimately of everything in creation. That, there is a order of how the evolution, the creative process, and ultimately it comes through Chachma that is revealed in Malchus, in the speech of God that is the creative force. But the question is, through the creative force of God and His Word, is the divine wisdom revealed or hidden? So Mother Earth, or just call it Earth, or call it a grain of sand, has divine wisdom in it. However, it's hidden, it's concealed. It's there because from there everything is animated, everything comes into existence. So there's divine wisdom there. But it's concealed. Concealed means that it's not obvious. You don't look at a grain of sand and say, oh, the infinite God, the wisdom of God. If you know a little science, I guess, or if you understand a little Hasidus, what we're learning, so then you can have that that sentiment, that feeling, that appreciation, that awareness. But it's not obvious. However, when we study Torah, so one second. So the same thing is, when it comes to our love towards God, it's also concealed. Because, again, everything is animated by God. So my love of God, my awe of God is animated by God. Meaning, he gives the vitality. He gives it the vitality for it. For my capability of having a feeling. So that's coming from divine wisdom, ultimately. That divine wisdom, though, is concealed. And therefore that love and awe of God, being it's the soul's experience of it, and the soul now in a body is a created being. Therefore, it's concealing, even though it's a love of God and it's concealing. Yeah. It's not revealing. It might be revealing you more than it's revealing God. Because it's my feeling, right? So the animation that comes from Chokhmah, divine wisdom, is vested in a way that is covering over the divine nature or the obvious divine vitality in that love of God, even if it's intellectually stimulated or evolved from. In other words, because you understand the greatness of God, you understand the Tanya, and you get it, and you meditate on it, and it just brings out your love and awe of God. Because think about it, a person sort of like, objectively is looking at that person. They're not sensing how great God is, how the presence of God. They're sensing the presence of the person. Awesome person, unbelievable guy, unbelievable woman. Look at the love and awe that they have of the Almighty. But really what is, being revealed is the greatness of the individual. Okay, it is a love and awe of God. That's amazing. But that's kind of concealed. As it's concealed in Mother Earth, as it's concealed in inanimate vegetation, animal, it's also concealed in the human. Even the human, on the utmost level of humanness, which is an understanding and awareness that leads to a feeling of love and awe of God. However, the subject of Torah that's being learned, even if it's a subject that has no current application, not only that, it's not even a study of Torah of something that, you could say, well, you learn about the Holy Temple, it's like you build it. If you learn about the offerings, it's as if you brought the offering. There's no as if over here, right? As we said, you had the wrong thought about a certain offering, and you're learning about that, called pigul in Hebrew. What is it? It is divine wisdom. That is not concealed. It evolves from, Chochmah Vatzilus, which is a receptacle for the Or Ein Sof, the limitlessness of Hashem, and it comes down, evolves through the worlds, it does, but it doesn't vest itself in the world and therefore take on the husk of negativity as it evolves from world to world until it comes down into this physical world and discussing about a physical thing in this world. Like, my ox gored your cow and, did damage to it, or like I was speaking about Pegel. It does devolve rather. That devolvement, though, is not in a way that this teachings gets stuck in any world, gets invested in a way that it takes on the qualities of creation in any way, which means the qualities of creation means of limitation of negativity. Negativity means that it becomes concealed, that it's not revealed, the divinity of this teaching. No, it comes down into this world. And even in speaking about physical objects, those physical objects may be our concealed godliness, the object itself of discussion, but the law about that object of discussion, right? My ox gored your cow and did damage, and there's a law such and such. That concept of ox and cow in Jewish law is divine wisdom revealed, not concealed. Because it comes down by derech maiver, it kind of passes through the worlds, but doesn't take on the qualities of the worlds of Bria, then Yetzirah, and then Asiya, and then in this physical world. It doesn't take on the qualities. And therefore it remains divine entity proper. And therefore are holy teachings, even if it's not something that has relevance, because it's divine wisdom, period. That's Torah teaching, because it's nothing else but the will of God that's expressed in this divine wisdom. Oh, okay. All right, folks. I see some questions here. We're gonna wait to deal with them. Okay. Oh, very good stuff here. We'll get to it. All right. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you from Chabad Zich and Kadesh, Montreal, Canada. It's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. Have a wonderful day. And today is Yud Kislev, the 10th day of Kislev, the Mittler Rebbe, the Alter Rebbe's son, who is the successor of the second Chabad Rebbe, was released from prison on this day. It's a Yontiv, so a good Yontiv to everybody. Celebrate Rechoiv Sanar, the full gushing of divine wisdom that should be gushing and coming out of every vein. A wonderful day.